Hey everybody, Jennifer Searzan here. Boy, do I have a good video for you guys today. So as some of you remember, back in 1989, I was 22 years old. I started working in pharmaceutical marketing. My job was to interview doctors about new medications the pharmaceutical companies were releasing. We would interview these doctors, get the data on the medication. We would then give that information back to the pharmaceutical industry. The majority of that information was basically showing that their drugs were shit, not working, and had tons of side effects. The pharmaceuticals would release it anyway. So I left that organization because I realized that they were completely demonic. I want you to watch this guy. He's a science writer and he has been almost his entire career. And he gives the insight to what he learned about the science, pharmaceutical, releasing drug industry. And you go out there and you line up your children for vaccines and all these other witch brew, serpent, disgusting medications that they create. I want to tell you this. They don't care about you. They don't care about your children. And the fact that you're still asleep and afraid to really look at the truth is even scarier. At some point, you have to wake up. We are a sick society. The pharmaceutical industry is demonic, and they are not trying to save us. They are trying to harm us. Please watch this video. Please share this video. This is scary.
For the past 35 years, I've been a science writer, working specifically in the oncology community. Over that time, I've published probably 500 or 600 bylined articles in major cancer journals. I've also interviewed 500 or 600 of the leading cancer experts in the world, including 5 Nobel Prize winners. In 2014, I co-authored a book called The Great Prostate Hoax: How Big Medicine Hijacked the PSA Test and Caused a Public Health Disaster. My co-author was Dr. Richard Ablin, one of the primary scientists behind the discovery of PSA. I say that not to brag about my credentials, but just to let the audience know who I am, because what I'm about to talk about later on in the story challenges a $200 billion per year cancer industry. And anytime you challenge that type of power structure, there's blowback. They will try to discredit me, but they can't because I'm an insider. I'm one of them. But I was a voracious reader, and I always studied. I made a point every day to spend an hour studying. So as I was proofreading, I studied all about cancer. I studied the biology, the economics, the politics behind it. And I quickly rose through the ranks. And everything was good. It was great. We traveled across the country. My wife would attend cancer meetings with me. We'd go to Orlando, New Orleans, Chicago, San Francisco, et cetera. It was just a great time. But after a while, something began to not feel right with the industry I was working in. The money, the pharma money, had too big of a presence. There was something there, and I'd see these meetings, I'd see the doctors presenting, and I'd see their names on the presentations and the pharma companies and the consulting fees. And so it was unsettling to me. I think the first inflection point came. I got a side gig with this guy, Bob Ross. He had a small medical publishing company. And he said, look, there's this company, they want to get into they want to break into the oncology sector. And they have a new drug in a phase 1 trial. They want me to come down with you and write a white paper on it. I said, fine. We went down there, and they had assembled a group of doctors, consultants, and they were presenting the data from this clinical trial. Now, from a laboratory, they go into phase 1, then phase 2, then phase 3. Phase 3 is the randomized controlled trial. It's the most important. That's what the FDA looks at when they approve or disapprove a drug. So they were in phase 1 clinical trials, and it was a trial on pediatric brain tumors, kids with brain tumors. And I'm listening to the presentations, and the way they just talked about these kids, subjects, and but I understood that. This is a clinical trial. But then I would hear words like harmonize the data and clinically meaningful activity. And I was fairly young in the business at this time. And, after the meetings, each night we were there for a couple of days, I'd say to Bob, what's going on with this harmonizing the data? Clinically meaningful activity. He said, they're just looking for something, any activity, anything to move this on. And I said, but it's not affecting the kids at all. It's not. He said, no, it won't. They just want to move their phase 2. And I realized that the agent that they were testing on these kids had no chance, or as close to zero chance as you can get, of having any benefit for these poor kids, okay? One of the side effects, I read the side effect profiles of this terribly toxic was suicidal ideation. Just think, a 12-year-old kid contemplating suicide because the drug they were giving him was so toxic. I asked Bob, I said, look, why would they spend money on this that has no chance of benefit? And he said, well, all they're looking for is some activity. So you can put a placeholder right there, and I'll get back to that, why that happens, okay? The next inflection point was I was attending a meeting, the ASCO meeting, American Society of Clinical Oncology. It's the largest cancer organization in the world, about 40,000 members, very powerful, very politically connected. And at this time, I'm attending the meeting, and they have what they're called poster sessions. The poster session, now this is the size of a football field, this arena it's in, the poster session. And it's lined with posters that are 4 foot by 6 foot up on posts. So they're just straight line. The posters are essentially abstracts. They consolidate what was presented at the meeting, what the particular person presented. And I was walking by this one, and it was presented by Amgen, the pharmaceutical giant, and it was for this called Aranesp. As I was walking by, the famous oncologist named John Glaspie, tall, imposing man, was talking to his associate, and he said verbatim, "What we need is a that f***ing works." And that got me. And our eyes glanced a little bit, and just we went off. I kept on my way. And so Aranesp is it's called an ESA, an erythropoietin-stimulating agent. Erythropoietin is a hormone produced in the kidneys that stimulates red blood cell growth in the bone marrow. It became famous. That's what Lance Armstrong did. That's what he got busted for in the Tour de France. So it's used to treat anemia. And Amgen got it approved for chemotherapy-induced anemia. Okay, it was a very difficult approval because it's a growth factor. And anytime you enter a growth factor into the cancer setting, because cancer is unregulated cellular growth, there are many problems. One of the expert panel it was leaked that he said, I hope we're not approving miracle growth for cancer. Okay, but they did approve it. But Amgen wasn't satisfied with that market. They wanted a blockbuster, another blockbuster. Now, in cancer lingo, a blockbuster is a drug that generates at least $1 billion per year. So they wanted the other market in cancer, the bigger market, fatigue. Cancer fatigue is the most dreaded symptom cancer patients have. Cancer fatigue, there's no treatment for it. And it's not like being totally exhausted, like, oh, I'm exhausted. It's cancer fatigue takes you into an otherworldly sense. The world outside you is moving at one speed and you're locked in place. It's soul-searing. So any drug that helps this would be a blockbuster. The problem was that Aranesp didn't work. Okay. Instead, but the FDA still approved it. And Amgen began direct consumer marketing of this that had very dangerous side effects for cancer fatigue. So later on that night, I went down to the hotel bar, and I'd seen the Amgen sales reps, and these are very slippery people. They're mechanisms, okay? I mean, they're just simply mechanisms working for the company. I was there and talking and listening to them, and so we started talking with this guy named Tom, and I dropped in as an aside, said, wow, you guys hit another home run with Aranesp, blockbuster. He said, yeah. He said, the docs love it. They can't get enough of this shit. I said, why? And he said, well, it's $2,600 an injection, in-office injection. Bang, $2,600. Bang, $2,600. He said, they're making a fortune. We just can't get enough of this stuff to them. So I waited a little bit, and then sort of jokingly, I said, yeah, but it doesn't work. And I'll never forget, he paused for effect. And he said, if you're putting your kids through Stanford and looking at a waterfront property in Malibu, it works. And my spine just cringed. That was my tipping point when I realized that the incestuous relationship between pharma and the oncology community, the healers, had been so corrupted by their money that everything had fallen off the cliff.
These foods should have a warning label. Cigarettes have crazy warning labels. Look, there's a guy there with a respirator and this guy has a tracheostomy. It's gnarly. We know that cigarettes are harmful for your lungs. They cause cancer and all sorts of issues in humans. Well, we also know very clearly that these ultra-processed junk foods contribute to obesity, diabetes, cancer, dementia. So how come this doesn't have a warning label? There should absolutely be a warning label on the side of a Lay's package that says, this food contributes to obesity, diabetes, low libido, erectile dysfunction, dementia later in life, and a picture of someone getting dialysis or a picture of someone having their foot amputated because they have diabetes and a bad infection. That should be on the side of a Lay's potato chip bag, just like it's on the side of a cigarette package, right? Am I right? Am I wrong? Well, it's not on the side of a Lay's package, and that is absolute bullshit. This needs warning labels too. Who's with me?
Coca-Cola, Kraft, PepsiCo, General Mills, and Nestle. Their products include Oreos, Cola, Doritos, mac and cheese, Cheerios, and Sour Patch Kids. The city's lawsuit argues that these companies knew they were selling food that made people sick, but sold it anyway. As a result, San Francisco says it had to pick up the tab by treating illnesses it says are caused by eating all that ultra-processed food. Vani Hari is a best-selling author and food activist. She joins me now. Vani, great to have you. So San Francisco's mayor, Daniel Lurie, said today, families deserve to know what's in their food. We are not going to let our residents be misled about the products in our grocery stores. This is what you've been saying.
You know, this isn't just a lawsuit, it's a reckoning. The ultra-processed food industry is finally being held accountable for feeding disease and not nutrition. These companies didn't just sell products, they sold sickness, and the city of San Francisco is suing them for it. For years, our movement has been shining a light on these exact tactics the lawsuit describes. Engineering cravings, chemicals nobody asked for, and marketing aimed straight at our kids. We've pushed for transparency, we've pushed for safer ingredients, and I've taken the heat for it specifically. But now we're seeing a major city finally put all of this into a legal complaint, and the tide is turning. Big Food's old playbook isn't working anymore.
Yeah, it's striking how much the lawsuit claims that these food companies are following Big Tobacco's playbook, that they are, engineering and designing these ultra-processed foods to be addictive. They're also marketing these foods to kids with Tony the Tiger, and we've got Fred Flintstone, Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, all these characters that are mass marketed. These are all things Big Tobacco did by marketing cigarettes like Virginia Slims to women and lying to people and making it addictive.
You know, this is a very spiritual movement. This is for humanity. I don't know how we can stand a chance against this type of manipulation when a company like PepsiCo has a robot that mimics human taste buds. The fact that Cheetos are engineered to melt away and have this thing called vanishing caloric density when a food dissolves quickly so the brain doesn't register the calories, so you keep reaching for more. And how Doritos are laced with MSG that's given to rats in obesity studies to make them fat, and create flavors that don't exist in nature. The chemicals they create intensify in the brain, and our brains aren't built for that level of flavor overload. The powder that they put on snack food, so it's meant to stick to your fingers, so that dust increases consumption with each lick and each repeat into your mouth. The fact that cereals are marketed to kids to stay crunchy in milk longer, to increase the satisfaction hit, to make bright colors look more flavorful than they are, because processed food without them would look dull and gray and nobody would eat them. The fact that emulsifiers and thickeners and sweeteners are combined
you convinced me
to hit your dopamine levels.
Ever wondered why people are dropping like flies? I'm about to show you as part of the reason. You're looking at one of the most dangerous aisles in the whole supermarket. You see this fruit and veg. It's all been sprayed with synthetic pesticides that are linked to cancers, hormone disruption, fertility issues, and even thyroid disorders. They're not even hiding it. They're telling you on some of the labels. Yeah, look at the label on these oranges. It says treated with amazolil, pyrimethamine, thiabendazole, fludioxonil, azoxystrobin, 2,4-D, and wax E903 and E914. Just go and do a bit of research on these and you'll see what I'm talking about. Before you all start saying we don't eat the skin, don't you think I know that? These synthetic pesticides are systemic, meaning they seep through the skin. Now we'll go on to the factory farmed meats. Even this is poisoned. These animals are absolutely pumped up with antibiotics, vaccinations. They're fed a load of crap, and most of them have probably never seen daylight. They're crammed in sheds, up to their knees in their own feces. I'd stay well away from these processed meats as well. They're laced with nitrates and nitrites. These form into nitrosamines once they hit your stomach. If you didn't know, nitrosamines are known to cause cancer. They've even laced the packaged vegetables with industrial seed oils that can cause systemic inflammation within your body. Don't be letting them fool you with this organic hummus with added extra virgin olive oil, because this is full of industrial seed oils as well. I've got something for you that'll change how you see food, from what you eat to the oil you cook with to the cookware and water you use every day. Comment enough and I'll tell you where to find it.
Yeah, I've been going crazy because the bioengineered food shit. This has got bioengineered. This, the turnip I eat almost every week. Hungry Jack, bioengineered. This shit is like you make put in your chicken. Bioengineered motherfucking grits, bitch. It says bioengineered food. Not an ingredient. This whole thing is 3D. Of course, anything Campbell's. Bitch, the El Paso enchilada sauce is bioengineered. Bitch, Ritz crackers. I ate this whole box this week. I got one little sleeve left, because I done ate the fuck out of them. Motherfucking noodles is too, which I think we all knew these wasn't good for you because how cheap they are, but still. No wonder they don't taste the same. Pizza rolls. Yes, that includes Tostinos. Bluebell contains bioengineered. And Ben and Jerry's don't. This fucking Butterfinger, bioengineered. My whole damn bag of Grand's Pillsbury's cinnamon rolls, bioengineered. I ain't even opened these yet. Motherfucking Rice Krispies. I mean, sons of bitch and marshmallows. No wonder when I made Rice Krispie treats, they tasted funny. Even the fucking bread, dude. The fucking bread! Oh, Piggly Wiggly's in on it too, huh? Oh no, this is engineered too.
Well, now you understand why they call it FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. Why? Because the same people that approve the poison they give you as food are the same ones that approve the poison they give you as medicine, drugs. Right? It's a vicious circle, a vicious cycle. I mean, first they poison you through food and have you all messed up, and then you run to them for a remedy for the poison they gave you. Guess what? They give you some more poison as medicines, right? As drugs. Not only that, not only is it poison, it is addictive, just like the food also is addictive. And the food they give you, there's no nutritional value to it. It's been stripped of all the nutrition. As a matter of fact, they're bioengineered. I mean, you could say, let me eat more healthy, like the old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, in this day and age, an apple a day can get you quicker to the doctor. Why? Because the apple is bioengineered. Not only that, they spray with all kinds of stuff, harmful stuff, right? And then they coat it with wax. Same thing you have in your candles and things. They coat it with wax so that it will stay, have a longer shelf life. See, so they can make more money. It's all about greed. And the people that do this stuff, they don't care about you, your health, your children. They don't give a damn. You see all of these things bioengineered. They put it up there and feed you slop and have you thinking that you're eating good. No, you're not eating good. You're eating death. That's what you're eating. You are eating death on a daily basis. It's a miracle that any one of us is even alive. To me, that proves there's a God. If you don't believe there's a God, well, here you go. We should all be dead. From what we consume to what we breathe in to the so-called medicines. I mean, the odds are stacked up against us. We should all be dead. There should be no one of us alive right now. But here we are still kicking, even though our health is all deteriorating at an alarming rate. We are all messed up. Every single one of us, some way, shape, or form. But we do the best we can, and we live the rest of the Most High, right? To eat good, better. No matter what you do, the devil is right there. No matter what you do, the devil is right there. Just like the lady was talking about how the drug administration, the pharmacy administration is totally demonic. Well, not only the pharmacy industries, but also the food industry is totally demonic to the very core. There's nothing good about any of this. It's evil. That's what it is. For somebody to engineer things like this and put it in front of you and have you thinking there's no food in this, there's no nutritional value in all of this guy's picking up. You don't get anything from that except heart disease, obesity, your sugar level shooting through the roof, right? All kinds of health hazards from consuming this stuff. It's supposed to be you eat to live, because your food and medicine goes hand in hand. You're supposed to eat to live. Now people they're living to eat. You see? Food is supposed to give you a nutritional value. It's supposed to give you sustenance, and it's supposed to be your medicine to build up your immune system, to build up your body. But you don't get that in this day and age with the devil, the evil ruling. You don't get none of those, right? If anything, you get death, poison, health hazards. That's all you get from all of this stuff. And you have the same individuals that approve all these things to show you how corrupt the whole system is, right? It's a vicious cycle, right? First, they get you sick from the food, and then you run to them for a cure, which they wouldn't be able to cure you, right? They've never cured anybody since the inception of modern medicine. They haven't cured not one single individual. They treat you, they help you. It's like throwing Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. You see? That's what it is. They don't cure nobody. Before we go any further, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakha HaKodash. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continue to teach us this truth. Peace, salutation, shalom, shalom, shalom to all your brothers and sisters out there that are of the household of faith, beginning with 144,000, down to the men, women, and children that are allotted to be delivered in these latter days, who are all of the elect, and to the brothers that are pushing this gospel in all sincerity and in all honesty. To you all I say, shalom, right? We are behind enemy lines, man. We are living in some biotoxic, I mean, it is insane. Can't even put words on it. Can't even, if you should time travel somebody from 500 years ago, from 1,000 years ago, and bring them to this, in this modern age, and have them eat one apple, they probably drop dead, let alone these pizzas and all these sandwiches and things like that. They would drop dead right there and there. They would just die off immediately, because that's how toxic this whole thing is, right? Let alone the sodas and the energy drinks and the so-called protein bars and, you know, the lettuce and the kale, which are all engineered. If they're not engineered, they've been sprayed to Timbuktu. God knows what. There's been sprayed to death. Then you consume this death. You wonder why. Here they are, they're praising how far we've come with technology and things like that. Well, people are sicker than they've ever been with all these advancements in technology, all these so-called advancements in modern medicines. How the hell are people sicker than they've ever been? Every now and again, people are going back to the hospitals. Every now and again, you get coming down with something. You know, you're coming down with something. Why? Because all this bioengineered crap. If you're not eating it, you're breathing it. If you're not breathing it, you're fucking it. Excuse my French. That's just what it is. You know? People are all polluted. Can't even enjoy the bond that goes between man and a woman. You know? You're worried about what are you going to catch. You see? The earth is totally defiled, corrupt, messed up to the very core. So you have to understand this. Which brings us here real quick. In the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 14th chapter, let's start at the 3rd verse. It says, riches are not comely for a niggard. And who is that? Well, that's a wicked elite who are all Edomites. They have all the money in the world. What they want to do with it? Well, poison the whole world, right? Poison everybody. From the medicines to the food to your shampoos to your technology, be it your phone, your TVs, your Wi-Fi, right? LED lights. Nothing is safe from these guys. They've weaponized everything against you. Even your own mind. They weaponize your own mind against you. You can't even trust your mind some of the times. That's why you have to always be deeply rooted in the word. You know? So riches are not comely for a niggard. Why? Because they will use those money to come up with some bioengineered crap and feed it to you. Come up with 5Gs and things. Come up with chemtrails. That's why riches are not comely for a niggard. That's what the wicked elites have done with all their resources, all their riches. They've managed to destroy everything, to pollute the whole system, corrupt everything. It says, and what should an envious man do with money? That's a good question. Here it is, you're very envious of everything. What are you going to do with money but some bull crap like we see with all these celebrities and things like that? right? It says, he that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others, that shall spend his good riotously, right? So here it is. You get money by doing things, compromising yourself, right? You can't enjoy that. There's no real enjoyment out of that. See, that's what the scripture is saying here. And you see that with all these celebrities. They're all messed up in the head. You know? They're all messed up in the head because they got those riches in the wrong ways. Eventually, they're going to crash out and leave all of those riches for somebody else. You see? The 5th verse, here's the point. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? That's a question right there. Who is that? Well, the wicked elites. Here it is, they pollute the same atmosphere that we all live under, right? We all got to breathe this air. We all got to live on this planet Earth. And then they manage to turn it into a shithole. And the whole world has turned into India. You know, there is a shit mess. Just the smell alone, like I was talking about earlier, if you time travel somebody from 500 years ago, 1,000 years, because we're all used to all this crap. You're not supposed to be used to living like this. Just the smell alone will have that individual drop dead. If you should time travel somebody from way back when to this modern age, they will drop dead just from the smell alone. That's how funky this whole place is. So he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? So if they don't care about their own health, that they will pollute the air, they will pollute everything and destroy everything in their path, you think they care about you? They don't give a flying F about you, bruh. That's why they don't care what they're putting inside of you or your children, right? They're called jabby jabs. They don't care. They give it to you anyway. Roll up your sleeve, give us your arm, let's put this thing inside of you. You're trying to ask them, what is it? Why do you care? Just give us your arm. You see? So somebody that will do all of this, you know they don't care about you, your children, nobody, not for a second. Don't make no mistake about it. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is the recompense of his wickedness. So imagine you envy your own self, not even envy somebody else. You envy your own self. That is the recompense of their own wickedness. So this is how Yahweh Hashem Yahushua get paid them back for all they've done, to eventually F themselves up. That's what we see. This is the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and in the NLT from the 49th verse, it says, the Lord will bring a distant nation against you from the end of the earth that will swoop down on you like a vulture. Actually, in the KJV it says eagle. And you know what eagle, right? The bald eagle. What is that? Well, that's the symbol of rulership of the Edomites. No matter where they are, they always use that eagle. Whether it's the Roman Empire, whether it's now we have America, the new Babylon, right? There's all that eagle. But here it says vulture. So it is a nation whose language you do not understand. So this is what will be happening to the true biblical Israelites. It says a fierce and heartless nation that shows no respect for the old and no pity for the young. So this is who you're dealing with here. They don't care about the elderly. They don't care about the young. They have no regard for human life. They have no regard for human life. They will destroy old elderly or the young. They could care less. They could give a F who they destroy. They don't care about this. See? That's a level of wickedness you're dealing with here. Make no mistake about it. You're dealing with some primetime evil. Right? Primetime evil that is right in front of your face. And the people that are perpetuating this evil, they could care how you feel about it. They don't give a F To the point where they put bioengineered food right on the label. Like, they're gonna eat it. So what? It is a damn shame. This is the book of John, the 10th chapter and the 10th verse. It says, the thief cometh not but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. That is the MO, the modus operandi of the wicked elite. What? To kill, to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And it shows forth in the way they run the earth. Right? It shows forth in the way they rule the earth in total wickedness. If they're not stealing something from somebody, they're killing somebody. If they're not killing somebody, they're destroying the planet. They're destroying everything. They're destroying our minds. They're destroying our health. They're destroying our food. They're destroying farmers. They're destroying the ozone layer. They're destroying, the atmosphere. Destroying our health. I mean, did that go on? The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. That's all they do. Destroy, kill, and steal. Then they repeat. And we are subjected to this kind of rulership. And so a lot of people love it so. And I cannot wait for the wicked elites to be done away with. So the earth we can live this earth the way it's supposed to be. None of us know what living is. We're barely surviving. We don't know what living is. We're barely surviving. See? We're barely surviving. It's all by the hands of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai that we're not all dead. You see? So that is a miracle within itself that we are even alive. In the book of Ezekiel, when the Most High told Ezekiel to eat dung. Actually, let's get that real quick. So the KJV. Bear with me for a minute. In the book of Ezekiel. Let's get it. Yep, here it is. So this whole thing, it says bread defiled. So the Most High was telling Ezekiel what to do. Like it says here, take thou also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and fitches, and put them in one vessel, and make thee bread thereof according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon thy side. 390 days thou shalt eat thereof. And thy meat thou shalt eat shall be weighed 20 shekels a day. From time to time shall thou eat it. It says, thou shalt drink. I shall drink also water by measure, the sixth part. Okay, yeah. Thou shalt drink also water by measure, the sixth part of an hin. From time to time shalt thou drink. It says, and thou shalt eat it as barley cakes, and thou shalt bake it with dung. What is that? Shit that cometh out of a human, out of a man, in their sight. It says, and the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. So the Most High was trying to prove a point to the prophet Ezekiel, telling him to bake his bread with shit in it. So this is how the children of Israel are going to be eating their bread defiled among the Gentiles. Now, not only are there shit in all these places you go to eat at, there's human meat in it, there's human teeth in it, there's feces, there's all kinds of unimaginable things. So back then, Ezekiel was like, what the hell? How the hell am I going to eat bread and put human shit in it? Like, it's unheard of. Why will I do that? But the Most High already know what the future brings. He will eat way worse than that. That's exactly what we're eating, way worse than what was told Ezekiel to eat. That's the world we're living in. You're lucky if it's only shit that is in your food. You're lucky if it's only shit that is in your food. You know? You count yourself blessed if it's only just shit you eating. See, that's how crazy it's become. So shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. And we are eating it, bruh. We are eating that defiled bread on a daily basis. Now I'll put together the clips, you see them. That's all you eat, defiled bread. That's all there is to it. Going back here, the thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. So it's either you choose life or you choose death. You know? See to it, I suppose. So this is the book of 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter, starting from the 27th verse. It says, for evil shall be put out and deceit shall be quenched. Man. We are patiently waiting for this. For evil to be totally put out, where you won't be worried about what you eat, you won't be worried about your medicines, you won't be worried about nothing. You won't be worried about the affairs of your children. You know, you've been worried about what your woman is doing behind your back. You know, you've been worried about none of that. Because evil will be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared. That's where everything is all coming out in the wash. Everything is being exposed, man, from the so-called health industry, the pharmacy industry, big pharma, to your food, you know, to your celebrities, to your rulers, right, to the elites, to everything, to the false prophets. You know, truth is being declared and everything is all coming out. Now we all know what is being happening through the mouths of the prophets, and sometimes through whistleblowers also. You see, that's what we're living in right now. We're living in the age of revelations. You better take heed. You better take heed. And with that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachah HaKodash. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone. See you next time, Lord willing. Shalom. Shalom.